Hey everybody, it's Nikki with Delicate Tension Tarot. It's a little chilly in here, so I've got a blanket going on today. This is going to be a reading for the sign of Capricorn. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or if you just have a lot of Capricorn placements in your chart. The energy surrounding this reading will be for the first 2 weeks of October. Sorry I'm a little late. I've had some stuff come up, interesting things with these planetary transits that I've needed to deal with on an emotional level. So I'm dealing with that and trying to make sure I maintain healthy boundaries and take care of myself in the process of doing that. So yeah, if you have anything coming up right now, maybe that's why I'm sharing it with you guys specifically. I haven't really said it on any of the other videos today. Just take care of yourselves accordingly. If it doesn't feel right, if you feel like you need to say no, just say no. You don't have to explain yourself all the time. So yeah, we do have Pluto going direct out of its retrograde on October 3rd. That's going to be, in my opinion, a particularly powerful transit, but I don't think it's felt in a jarring way as it is when, let's say, Mercury's retrograde going direct, Venus, because its influence is, it's such a wide expanse, it's such a far reach, large impact. It can be transformation and energy that's felt over time. So it could be months, you could be feeling it for a year. It's just one of those things where in retrograde, it really asks us to go within and unearth the things that are deep below the surface that may be painful. It's a lot of shadow work. It is a lot of addressing our deeper issues. It could even be secrets coming out that are making that come to the surface. With October 3rd and it going direct, I do think that there's going to be information that does come to the surface. It's kind of out of the darker aspects. It could be people admitting that they have addiction issues. It could be people admitting how bad something actually is. It could be as simple as someone choosing to start going to therapy, or maybe they've been going to therapy and they haven't been telling anybody about it. Whatever it is, it's been a recognition of what our core issues are that hold us back from external transformation or transforming ourselves in a way that we move forward in a much more healthy way. I was trying to think of another word to use, so I didn't say way twice, but yeah, we can move forward in a much more healthy progression. So with it going direct, I do feel like it's moving from the internal to the external. And boy, I have been feeling it. Honestly, it's almost, it's kind of been like a tug of war game, in my opinion. It's going within and then it's wanting to fight what it is that I'm facing or experiencing or what is showing up and make excuses for it and, you know, kind of placate it. But I'm telling you, it's so much better to face it. It is highly uncomfortable. I think recently what happened with Chiron, I can't remember if it was conjuncting Saturn. I can't remember what the exact terminology was, whether it was conjuncting or squaring or whatever. But I do know that the day that that happened, I had something really intense come up and I was not expecting myself to have the emotional reaction that I had to it, and honestly that I'm still dealing with. I really didn't recognize how much trauma was tied to it, and it's been very interesting for me. I think it's also been interesting for me in the concept of, you know, experiencing this for myself. I think it's just going to further be a tool that I can use to help others when they're moving through processing things like this. yeah, it's really interesting when memories become unearthed and we had no idea that there was so much that was attached to them because of how much we had buried it below the surface. Anyways, I'm going to quit talking. I'm going to get started with your reading. If anybody feels the necessity to timestamp below, it feels good to laugh. If anybody feels the necessity to timestamp below, please do so, just to save people. I will go back and try to do it as well. That way you don't have to listen to me ramble on about bullshit for like the first 3 minutes of the video. Okay, so let me get started. I'm going to tune into your energy and see what it is that I feel. Justice is already on the bottom of the deck, so ooh, I don't know how great that's going to be. Hold on one second. So it honestly might be because I saw Justice. Usually I see Justice in an incredibly positive light, and not that I don't see it in an incredibly positive light in this reading, but I hear the like clashing and clanging of swords. There could be verbal disagreements the first 2 weeks. There could be just an exchange of words. But I think it's words from both sides that carry a lot of weight and carry a lot of truth. I mean, I don't know if anybody out there has ever picked up a sword. Swords actually can be quite heavy unless they're like a really lightweight samurai sword, which is awesome too. But these feel like, I mean, this is going to sound so lame. These feel like swords from like Middle Earth or something out of Lord of the Rings. They feel heavy as shit. And I do see a little bit of blood, so there could actually be some critical wounding happening here. I don't know if what's being said is intentionally meant to hurt, but I just think it draws blood. There's something here where someone gets affected in some way. It's almost like I'm hearing that something has to stop. Things are going to be better, but something has to stop. Okay. There she is. Good old Justice on the bottom of the deck. And then we have Justice with the 2 of Cups. So yeah, there might be an exchange of words or emotions that are very honest and truthful. And probably very uncomfortable. Yep, very uncomfortable. Because we do have the 5 of Wands right there. Show me what's going to be happening for Capricorn for the first 2 weeks of October, please. And if you guys can hear that drawing in the background, I'm so sorry. I've tried everything this morning to remove it from this. But I need to get these videos done, so at the same time I'm like, screw it. I don't care if there's drilling in the background. Yeah, I do think that there's been some form of an unhappy situation or circumstance with the 3 of Cups in reverse. I'm going to see what is clarified with that, but this feels like this could be a loss of stability through drinking. This could be, look, if you're trying to like deal with things when you're drinking or fix things when you're drinking, I wouldn't. I don't think it helps anything. I feel like there's like this weird disbelief that there's a healing element behind it or that it makes things easier, and I don't think it actually does. And I also think that you would like to assume or think that you have control over a situation that you do not have control over. Yeah. I think you also like to exercise your control over this. 5 of Swords to me, that's also the clashing and clanging of swords. If you notice in this image, I'm working on getting a new camera so I can autofocus here. But there's 2 swords laying down here and there's 2 people walking away. One is actually physically very upset and crying. The other one, you can't really tell what he's doing. In my opinion, I'd like to think that he's just shaking his head and being like, God damn it, you know, really? And then this smug little asshole over here, he thinks he's the victor, and I'm going to say that very clearly. He thinks he's the victor, but I never actually view him as that, because he's holding 3 swords, and when you think of the 3 of swords, that's heartache, that's loss. So in reality, at the end of the day, this person is the one that's losing out. So he's kind of like, you know, he thinks he's pissing on his turf and he's claiming his territory, but he's not. There's nothing to claim. So yeah, these two feel very similar to me. I think this is the same individual. So if it's not you, it's someone you're dealing with, but this feels like it's you. I would be very careful with your words. I would be very mindful of your words. I would be very mindful of your speech, how you say something, how you're wanting to dictate, how you feel. Because there is this thing where I see at the center, at the heart of the issue, there is this deep, deep need to heal something or to have hope in a situation. And I didn't even notice this 3 of Swords is on the bottom of the damn deck. So yeah, I think you're wanting to heal something. I think you're wanting to make something positive, and I do think it has a lot to do with either someone from your past or someone you're currently dealing with now that you've been dealing with for a long time. Okay, let's pull some clarifiers. I already saw the Devil on the bottom of the deck, so this could actually be very long-term or long-standing issues that are going to be addressed with Pluto going direct. If you do have drinking problem, and when I say if you do have a drinking problem, I'm going to exercise it in the way where you actually physically either become violent or, I don't know, the Devil for me in this context with the amount of like heavy masculine energy is in here. I think you need to address issues around anger, especially since the Emperor is ruled by Aries. Mars is a very god of war type planet. I want you to be careful with your temper right now. And Chiron is in Aries, so we're dealing with anger issues, we're dealing with masculine issues, we're dealing with issues surrounding the father. A lot of those are coming up to the surface, and it can be very uncomfortable. I mean, Chiron is such, it's the wounded healer, right? It's an asteroid that in our charts will represent what it is that we really need to heal and what we will spend our entire lives working on healing. You know, somebody once asked me a funny question, and they were like, I mean, do we ever heal it? And I'm like, no. We take the steps towards it being easier to deal with, or towards transforming our wound into something that helps others. So whether it's our story, whether it's acknowledging how we cannot make that mistake, or how we can acknowledge to not do that to others, it's perfect. But yeah, so there's a lot of deep things coming up around father figures, relationships with men, anger. Personally, in my opinion, yeah, so sorry about that. It's a lot of hard work that you're going to have to do. I'm going to get up and see if I can do anything with this. I highly doubt it, but it's worth a shot. That might muffle it just a little more. But yeah, I think you need to address any issues of going back and forth or kind of charging in. I think you need to actually address it and not just think that you've addressed it. I think that's something else that's coming up here. I'm sorry if my voice starts going. Like I said, I've had a really interesting couple of days, and I actually feel my body physically suffering from whatever it is that's happening. Clearing energy is real, guys. Yeah, I think that like I said, under the guise of alcohol, if you actually feel like it helps you in some way. I don't think it does. This can also, because I'm looking at the Four of Wands on the bottom of the deck. And this feels appropriate today for some reason using the bottom of the deck. I keep like glancing over and seeing it, and then I feel like I have to say it. I think you need to address the difference between having a good time, when to have a good time, and then when a good time goes bad real quick. Because I don't, if you continue doing this or you continue acting through this cycle, I don't think it's going to go good. Especially the fact that we were starting off with justice. I mean, that literally to me is somebody getting arrested. So just be careful. So we have the Sun and the Four of Wands. I do think there's an opportunity right now to get clarity on this, so please do. And then I'm going to pull one more card over here. And okay, so we have the Five of Cups. So this can be mourning the past. This can be actually expressing sorrow for things that have been done in the past, because I think you're in a crux for change here right now. I think that you are at a pretty heavy crossroads where the pressure of the change is so great that now you're having to reconcile with things that you've done and things that you were not so proud of. And you're having to actually do the whole face it thing where, you know, it reminds me of stuff in interventions where you have to approach people, or not just interventions, but like 12-step programs. You have to now go to the people that you've wronged and talk to them about what it is that's happened. And if you have gleaned, you know, any insight into your situation, you then at least as best as you can have the opportunity to convey why you did what you did. Intense. I do see the Nine of Cups at the bottom of the deck, so yeah, maybe that's why I was talking about intervention. Nine of Cups to me can be, I mean, it literally is self-gratification, it's self-satisfaction, it is overindulgence, it can be the wish card. I mean, we do have the Star and the Nine of Cups here. That could be wishes being granted. I'm addressing this first, and then I'm going to run through everything one more time for people who don't resonate with that first message, because there is two specific sets of messages here today. I just felt like I needed to tackle this one first because it does feel the heaviest. Yeah, I do think you need to cut out any overindulgent behaviors. Like I said, I did see the Devil earlier when I was shuffling, so I do feel like this is a very difficult period of addressing those issues, and I think you could be feeling the pressure and the weight. I mean, we also did just have Saturn going direct in Capricorn, which is the Lord of Karma. We have a lot of planets here, I think, right now that are very like needle in the haystack type. Not needle in this. What the fuck? I'm sorry. Not needle in the haystack. I don't even know why that came up in this reading, because that is not what I meant to say. The straw that broke the camel's back. There we go. I was like, needle in a haystack. They sound similar. Anyways. Laugh at my expense. I don't care. So, if you are having any issues around addiction, anger issues, temper, let's go ahead and start working on tackling the things we can tackle to minimize the area of impact. Because I feel like for some reason this could bleed. Because I did see blood. I feel like it's like the blood could spread. And I feel like more and more people could become affected by whatever is happening in this situation. clean it up before it cleans you up. Okay? Because there's a lot of remorse. There's a lot of pain here. I do think too, this does have a lot to do with the past. So like I said, with Chiron being in Aries and there needing to be healing around the father, whatever issues you do have, you could have watched your father do this. You could have grown up in a situation where your father was this way. I just think you need to address it and deal with it. And the fact that we have eclipses in your sign. I mean, this is a heavy year. I think it's a year to really reconcile with what you can do to change. Like, how can you be the best version of yourself? And then how do you externalize that to the world around you? So yeah, deep shit going on. When do we not have deep shit going on? I do feel like sometimes the energy is easier on others in different ways, but yeah, we have things happening. We have things going on. It is important to help us change and grow. Let's use it for the best possible thing that we can. Now, moving on to my second message, I'm probably not going to spend as much time rambling on about what it is that I see, but I do see that there is an opportunity for healing right now, especially surrounding relationships. If this is the more positive jump on what I saw with Justice and the Two of Cups, this could be an energy of coming together to reconcile things that have happened in the past. I do still think that there could be some intense or harsh words being said, so I also want to just continue piggybacking on what it was that I said earlier in terms of be careful with what you say and how you say it. This is going to hurt. That's what I just said. So, or what I heard. My communication is great right now, if you couldn't tell. But I feel like that there could even be a figure coming towards you that does represent, it could represent your father. It could represent something that reminds you of your father. It could represent your ideal mate, because the Emperor is a king's energy. Well, not even a king's energy. He's a fucking emperor. He trumps the kings. So I do want you to be careful. I do think this person has hurt you before. This is Mama stepping in now. This is Mama. Be safe. Be careful. Be safe. Once again, be safe. Be careful. Maybe too, this is you needing to put those pants on, right? Put the pants on. Like, you be in control of the situation. Stop letting someone else control or dictate the way you feel about this. You take charge. You decide whether you want to heal this or hurt whatever it is. Just because somebody did some fucked up shit to you doesn't mean you have to do it to somebody else. I always think that's such an interesting thing. You know, when people hurt us. I've heard and seen some crazy shit come out of people's mouths, I will say. For the vengeance aspect that they want to take. So I'm going to pull some quick themed card messages. I feel like this video has gone on forever, and I am so sorry. Hopefully you've actually made it this far. What is the overall themed message here? That was way too many. What is the overall themed message here for Capricorn? So if this is about the relationship piece, this could be somebody coming in to tell you that they did miss you. We have cycles, so this could be a cycle or a repetitive situation that you've put yourself in for quite some time. And we have chaos, so holy shit. Let's be careful. This could be a period in time where it feels like everything is coming down to be rebuilt. It could also just be a feeling of, like I said, we have a lot of uncomfortable energies putting us in this interesting position of really forcing us to recognize, reconcile, and heal. I think especially for you guys. Also, if this is, let's say if, right? This is a general reading. It's not going to resonate with everybody. If you are sharing or expressing feelings of missing someone and they are not well received, and then chaos ensues and you are hurt by that and you want to hurt them, once again, please be very careful how you deal with this situation. You need to chill out. You need to address your temper. You need to address your tit for tat energy. You need to sit down. I do feel like part of me needs to say this. You need to sit down. Because I'm hearing that like intense mother energy that just like snaps her fingers and is like, you need to sit the fuck down. Really interesting energy for you guys for the first 2 weeks, because I feel like this was so work oriented and now it's turned into relationships. So I don't know what's going on there. Take it how it applies or resonates. Like I said, it's not going to resonate with everybody. Thank you for joining me. I hope you can move through this time period as gracefully as possible. I mean, if you feel the need to be like a wrecking ball, go for it. Not my place to say what works for you. If this did resonate and you would like a reading more tailored to you, you can contact me at delicatetensiontarot@gmail.com. That email link is in the description box below. You can also follow me on Delicate Tension. That's on Instagram at Delicate Tension if you would like to see daily energy pulls for the collective, as well as just whatever else ends up on there. Sometimes I post random shit. So yeah, once again, thank you for joining me, and I will see you guys later.